What's up, you little such and suches? We're back again with another cast. We're podding a cast. We're casting a
Thoughts
pod.
and Friends, podcast number 4.
Episode 4.
You think it'd be easier to keep track of?
We got a lot of sods.
4 in.
A
We
lot
got
of
a
sods.
big catalog to sort through.
Yeah.
Saw Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad 2020, directed by James Gunn. That's going to be the meat and potatoes of the pod today. We got some thoughts.
Mostly movies. We're going to cast our own DC comic movie. That should be fun. Talk some Summer League quickly. But, yeah, you want to just jump into basketball or?
Yeah, we just make that real quick. I don't have any.
Give me your strong Summer League takes.
I don't have any world-changing opinions.
We're in Vegas now. We did a couple days in Sacramento. We're in Las Vegas.
Salt Lake, I believe. I don't think we've done Sacramento yet. Maybe both.
Dude,
doesn't matter.
Dude.
Semantics. Who gives a shit?
Give me your takes.
I don't have any. I just got mostly positive. It seems like this class, in the words of the late Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. They all have played up to the caliber of what they were projected to in the draft. A lot of guys have looked really good. I can't really think of any guys that have looked
who's looked
particularly bad.
I'll start with a negative. I like to be positive on this show. I'll start with a negative. And it's not this year's class, though. It's last year's. Jalen Smith with the Suns. Yikes.
Yeah.
It's a miss for me so far.
Seems like that was a miss. Seems like he just doesn't, I don't know, the speed of the game, the whole deal. He just feels.
If you're that guy, if you're him, although these guys, Cole Anthony, Tyrese Maxey, they played last year. I know Jalen Smith didn't. But if you're these guys, you just have to just wreck this summer league.
Yeah.
And he is not. He's been fine.
Yeah.
He's kind of blending in.
Yeah. That one seems like a miss. Again, these guys are all really young, but he just, I don't know. Your top 10 pick, you don't want him standing in the corner when he's 7'1" for a majority of the game. You got guys I've never heard of. You have another guy named Jalen Smith who's taking the shots.
Is it said Jalen? It's
I don't know.
Jalen.
Jalen.
Jalen with 2 E's.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Cade. Cade's stats haven't been great, but he looks awesome.
Jalen Green they played each other the other night.
Awesome.
Jalen Green, technically, I didn't watch a lot of it. We were gone, right?
Yeah, we were at the
watching
movie.
This movie. He got the better of him on the stat. Cade fouled out, you said?
That's what it said.
10 fouls.
I didn't look into that. That's what it said on the Sports Center graphic that I saw.
Yikes.
So that's some in-depth research. That
could
could not be true. But
extensive fouling.
I cannot see how he got 10 fouls in one game.
No. But Jalen Green scored 25 points or so.
Mm-hmm.
Had a nice
he's
outing.
looked incredible.
We had a conversation the other day about his shot volume this year and how many points you think he could score 20 points a game?
I think he could approach it for sure.
I think they have enough guys there to take shots that where he won't.
Yeah,
but
I think they're going to get up so many shots. But yeah,
they're going to play no defense and play at a high pace.
Yeah, he's special.
He could. Well, when we were talking about
with
it,
KPJ and with Wood, it'll be tough.
John Wall's going to fire if he's there.
Yeah,
all year. Wall will fire.
Yeah,
I went and looked at the people that scored 20 points a game last year. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good list. There's some good players that didn't score 20 a game. So
yeah.
We'll see. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that take is more. I mean, I obviously think he's good. That's probably a little hyperbolic, but I just think it's how bad the team is and the style of play.
Huge green light, too.
Like, I don't think any other rookies have any shot at approaching that this year.
No.
Mobley's looked pretty good. He looked good today. He was
I didn't watch
hitting a lot of jumpers today.
He played the Magic, Suggs, and he played today.
Suggs
I didn't
has
watch
looked
that game.
incredible.
He's good.
Yeah. Two-way player, dominating both sides of the ball.
Right before we started recording this, we were talking that the Magic are going to be awful, though.
Yeah.
Worst team in the league, awful.
Yeah,
intriguing players, but it could get bad.
Yeah, we'll get to this at some point, but I'm tentatively making my NBA player rankings for 2021. I've, I don't know, done about 100 so players and kind of looked into the analytics, not the analytics, I guess, the just some interesting tidbits about it. I looked up every team's highest ranked player. This is obviously according to me, and the Magic have the lowest ranked number one option on that 125 list by an ocean of a margin. I think Jalen Suggs is their best player, which is not good.
He hasn't played a game.
No. He's the 5th pick.
That's tough.
Not good.
But it's an ultimate rebuild right now for them. They're supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully he is what we think he is. He looks great so far. One more positive from Summer League and we'll move on.
Davion Mitchell, we trashed him. He's looked awesome.
I'm telling you, that was in Sacramento. He ever playing at home, Davion Mitchell. I'm pretty sure they played in Sacramento that Summer League. Maybe they played both. Though.
Yeah, they've probably done both.
Either way,
they always do both. So
he has looked pretty good.
Book night, he had him in the hurt locker.
Pretzel.
Oh my goodness,
dude is a vice.
Had him bundled up, looking over at Coach. Coach, you got. What do I do? He's so close to me all the time.
Coach, get him off me.
He is like the shadow in.
Have
you ever seen Annihilation? No. There's this shadow creature that just perfectly mimics all your moves. That's what he reminded me of.
Yeah, it was tough to watch, just hounding him.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know how he's been shooting, but
I think okay. He's been scoring, so still 6 feet tall.
Yeah, we'll see how Book Knight's kind of a weaker-ish guard. He's thin. We'll see how a stronger, bigger guard handles him. But yeah, he absolutely dominated Book Knight for sure.
Yeah, I don't really have any other takes.
We'll have more podcasts. We'll continue to fire random Summer League takes along the way.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
Let's do the Suicide Squad.
Can we start off and do a little Suicide Squad 2016 talk? A little primer. I watched it the day we went to. The day we went to the movie, I watched.
Had you seen it before?
No, I'd never seen it before.
I didn't rewatch before going. You watched for the first time before going.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, didn't have to.
No.
Thankfully.
Didn't need to at all.
It was total reboot. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
We talked on the last pod. You have over 200 movies ranked, and it's one of your lowest movies you've ever ranked.
It is the bottom, lowest, worst score I've ever given a movie. And to be fair, I don't watch a lot of bad movies. I watch a lot of critically acclaimed, whatever you want to call that type of movies. Like if there's a movie in theaters that looks bad, I just don't watch it.
I love a good bad movie.
Yeah, sometimes I do. This movie I did not like as a bad movie. Yeah,
no,
this was kind of typical DC of this time, 3, 4, 5 years ago. The studio was chasing their tail, trying to chase the dragon of Marvel so hard that they could not get out of their own way. They would not let any director make their own movie. They basically made this movie, showed it to a couple test audiences. They didn't like it, so they completely recut the entire movie, basically, and it shows. David Ayer.
Who directed the first one? David Ayer. Okay.
And I mean, he's, for what they were going for then, which is dark, gritty, murky, moral characters, that's kind of his bag. He's kind of a dark, bleak, depressing sort of director. But yeah, you could just tell they tried to take a movie that was sort of serious and dark and turn it into Thor Ragnarok or Guardians of the Galaxy. It feels so disjointed. You can tell there are parts that are shot and then just Frankenstein into other parts, and they're not where they're supposed to be in the edit. It makes you feel like you're drunk when you're watching it. Every time I'm watching it, I feel like I need to pause it because I feel like I missed something, but I never did. I'd rewind it all the time and be like, wait, where are they at? What are they doing? Yeah. It's awful. It's terrible.
Tell the story or whatever you want to call it of Jared Leto. You loved him as the Joker, though.
Oh my God, awful.
You called him the biggest tryhard of all time.
He's the biggest tryhard in Hollywood.
What did he do?
He would send dead animal carcasses to his co-host, co-stars, trying to be, I'm the Joker.
Method.
Yeah, and all these other actors.
Give it a rest.
Don't be a hack. Just act. We're all pretending. We're pretending. You don't have to live your life this way.
I don't want to.
And it's
raccoon in my trailer.
It's so bad. He doesn't even need to be in the movie, to be honest with you. The only reason he's in the movie is to sell tickets to the movie. I mean, I don't know. His part in the movie is nothing. And I've heard, which surprises me, that he was supposed to be in it more and be more of a central part of it.
I had heard that too. He had a bunch of scenes cut. Yeah,
which is weird. You'd think if you're making it from a
That was the first
money-making
depiction of Joker since Heath Ledger. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was like a big selling point. I mean, like at that point, that was one of the best performances we'd seen just in
the superhero genre in general.
In movies in general, was Heath Ledger as the Joker, and it was hyped up as this Joker-fueled Suicide Squad movie, and
I remember,
flat. It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably a freshman in college when the first trailer came out, and I was like, this looks awesome. Looks really good. Because, I don't know, it had sort of the feel that it was going to be sort of dark and scary, and they basically took all that stuff out. Like, it felt like these guys, none of these characters feel like bad guys other than the Joker. They're all supposed to be villains, and none of them feel remotely like villains.
That's a good point.
Well, to be fair, they don't feel like anything. They basically don't feel like real people. They don't feel like actual characters. Their whole personality is kind of boiled down to a quick, like, stop frame graphic at the beginning of the movie. And it's got, like, 150 lines of text, and you're supposed to, I guess, read all that to understand who any of the people are.
I would like walk in and out as you were watching before you left, and you mentioned, like, you don't know who these characters are. Like, I don't care.
I don't care. They could have all got their heads blown up in the very beginning of the movie. I'd be like, whatever, fine, I guess. Will Smith. He was trying.
I like Will Smith.
Doing his Will Smith thing, but it's such a bad role. And I mean, it's such a nothing storyline, nothing character. I don't know. All the characters feel so hollow and so empty inside. It's such a mess.
Yeah. Well, let's leave that mess.
I just want to see if I have any other takes
on the first one.
Yeah.
Fire them off.
Yeah, the characters looked like shit. I hated the production design. Like Killer Croc looked like he had like just a skin disease that looked like basically his whole. I don't know. They could have done more with that. Harley Quinn, the lone bright spot, and she's a bright spot in this movie. Margot Robbie
smashes.
She kills it. She's so good in that character.
Think of a better match for an actress and a character. She just home run smashes it.
The licensed music in this movie, in the first 10 minutes, there is 10 different songs that feels like an AI took like songs put in popular movies and just jammed them all into the first 10 minutes. You get House of the Rising Sun. They're in Louisiana, so songs about Louisiana. They're flying. It's the Fortunate Son when they're in the plane. It's like every helicopter scene in the history of movies
Maybe
is
too on the nose for all these songs.
Son. The Suicide Squad is back, and they play Guess Who's Back by Eminem.
A little too on the nose, you're saying?
I mean, there was 10 of them in the first 10 minutes. There's a good way and a bad way to use licensed music. This was as bad an example as you can get. It was so awful. Oh my God.
Any other shit you'd like to do on this movie?
The music, I mean, it feels like a 14-year-old had $300 million to make a movie, and they're like playing with action figures, and they just have no idea what they're doing.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh my God.
It was terrible.
It's
I didn't want to rewatch it. I'm glad I didn't have to.
Oh, yeah. It's so boring, too. I don't even remember what happens, to be honest with you. I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
I watched it yesterday. I don't really remember what happens. There's an enchantress. They kill her, but they don't. It's thumbs down. Do not recommend Suicide Squad 2016.
You don't need to watch it to watch this for
Don't need to
one.
watch it. There's 3 characters from that are in this.
I was just going to say, who carries over to this one?
Rick Flag,
Viola
Harley
Davis'
Quinn,
character.
Viola Davis, whatever her character's name is. I don't remember.
Amanda Waller.
And then Captain Boomerang is in this.
Technically.
No spoilers. Whoops.
Yikes.
Is there anyone else other than those 4?
Idris Elba, John Cena. No one of prominence throughout the second movie. Maybe for bits and pieces, but
yeah, I don't
no one
think
that
so.
I believe. No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't believe so. So, with that being said,
The Suicide Squad,
The
written and directed by James Gunn.
of Guardians in the Galaxy fame.
Guardians in the Galaxy?
That's what I said.
Oh,
I think.
Guardians of the Galaxy fame.
That's what I meant to say.
James Gunn, written and directed, starring, as we said, Margot Robbie returns. Joel Kinnaman is Rick Flag. He returns. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller returns. Adding Idris Elba, John Cena, Sylvester Stallone. Also, I had to look these two up. Daniela Mcquarrie and David Dasmalchian.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with anything else
David
they've
and
done.
Daniela, if you're watching, apologies for that last name pronunciation. But yeah, those two are
You were
added.
delightful in this movie.
I have them written down. They were delightful in this movie. Yeah. Written, directed, James Gunn. Thoughts? First impressions. Go.
Oh, one more thing. There's a line that the Joker says in Suicide Squad 2016 that I want to just make a note of. There's a flashback with Harley Quinn, and he's like torturing her. He says, "What are you going to do? Kill me?" And he looks at her and he says, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad." They wrote that, and that's what he said.
People talk like that. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Not great. Moving on. The Joker's not in this movie.
No, thank God. Get Jared Leto out of my movies.
I think... I'll let you start.
I
Overall, you liked it, correct?
loved this movie.
Loved
it. I thought it was fantastic. It was the most fun I've had at a movie in a very long time. I would describe it as incredibly, incredibly fun. It was such a joy.
I'm not quite as high on it as you, but at first, I think I was making the mistake that the first movie made and was maybe a little brainwashed by it. I was maybe trying to be a little too serious and like trying to...
Yeah, I was...
Don't do that.
No,
It's stupid.
It
can be stupid, but it's very, very fun, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
It completely spits in the face of other movies that DC has made. It basically kind of makes fun of all the dark, moody tropes that you would normally see in a movie like this. Yeah,
I was definitely...
I mean, whenever I'm watching a superhero movie, this is usually my qualms with a lot of the Marvel movies is that they're like fun and quippy, but they're too realistic for superhero movies to me. I would rather my superhero movies be like this and be more fun, goofy, kind of out of bounds sort of romps.
Right. So
on
that point, right away, they're being sent into a...
So first, you were getting popcorn at the very beginning.
I did miss the very beginning. That is correct.
Starts out with Michael Rooker, who plays, was it Yondu? Is that his character's name in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians, yeah.
Yondu, that's what it is. It starts out with him. Yondu.
Either way.
Blue guy. Sacrifices himself in the second one. You look it up. On the screen, Yondu. Starts out with him. There's this kind of quiet, silent shot. He's in like the yard at the prison by himself, and his reflection in the puddle, and he looks all serious, and you're like, what is this guy's deal? We're obviously going to be following him for most of the movie. And he throws this racquetball, and he can like accurately throw it off all these walls, and he kills a bird with it. And then he gets pulled out by Viola Davis's character, says, "You're on the Suicide Squad," yada, yada, yada.
Assembling the team.
We get a introduction of... basically, the squads are divided into two. We get an introduction of the first squad, which is him, Captain Boomerang, Pete Davidson...
Blackguard.
The Weasel, who is
the Weasel,
mocapped by James Gunn's brother.
Really?
Fun fact.
Yeah, he's just literally like a weasel, killer weasel
just
thing.
A weasel. Guy with the spear.
Javelin.
The alien lady, the orange gal. I don't know any of these characters' names. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's not really that important. They fly off. They say, we have a mission. We're infiltrating a beach. And they drop down onto a beach. They're kind of sneaking up. And we get our first death. The weasel drowns.
Right away.
Right away. I'm
Jumping
like,
out of the
okay,
plane.
this is what we're doing. They're literally a suicide squad, and you slowly realize that they've... spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
Major spoilers.
Spoilers.
Go ahead.
Spoilers. You realize that they've been set up, and they're basically cannon fodder for these
Firing
this
squad
militia.
of like a militia, yeah.
And they all die in these very funny ways, and they're all very inept, and they're all very scared.
Yeah. In a very... Yeah, like in the first one, they're called the Suicide Squad. One guy dies.
Yeah, just to show that basically the bombs in their necks. Yeah, they all get injected with bombs in their necks so that if they desert,
so they don't run
they
away.
have a remote and they can blow up their heads, basically. Blow their heads off.
But the idea of the Suicide Squad is that they're going on this impossible mission that is almost certain death.
Yeah, there's no stakes in the first one. I don't even know. I didn't know what the bad guy wanted. There was no stakes.
So right away, they just blow all these people to
and
hell.
I love Viola Davis's character. She's such a scumbag government official. She's like, I'm just going to send these people to certain death.
Over the top.
Basically, their plan is to split up into two teams, and this is the fake team of all the dumbasses, basically, and they send them
basically to draw out
the forces so that the other team can kind of walk right to the objective.
The other team is who we follow throughout the movie.
Correct. All these people, and I love.
Well,
one thing I love about this movie is how much care they put into every aspect, and that's kind of what James Gunn does. Like another movie, they could have very easily just like killed them all in like an explosion. He's so thorough, and all the deaths were awesome.
Very gory. The entire movie.
So gory.
The whole time, the entire movie, I was thinking, and I'm sure you and many other people, it reminded me of The Boys, a TV show that we loved through quarantine. We watched The Boys on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was bloody and gory and crazy, exploding body deaths, and blowing heads off.
As wild and crazy and insane as this movie is, it somehow also feels like one of the most realistic superhero movies in some ways. Because I think one thing about a lot of superhero movies, and I get it's for kids, and this movie, for sure not for small children.
There was this small kid sitting to the right of me in the theater. I was ugh, he was loving it, though.
Yeah, I would, too, if I was a little kid.
He was like 12.
Yeah, there's not that much sex or...
No, it's just it's just violence and blood.
Over-the-top gore.
Yeah.
What was my point? The violence is so over the top that it feels real, because in a lot of these other superhero movies, you get all this death and none of it feels real. It just feels like they're killing actors. They're killing like sandbags, basically.
Yeah.
All the people, there's so much impact. It was so satisfying every time someone died. The blood, the impact, it felt like all their bullets and all their attacks had so much weight.
I will say not all of them died. So we forget Rick Flag and Harley Quinn were in that group.
They were in the group.
They
do not die.
They're both captured, technically, right?
Correct.
They're
they get split up,
surrounded and captured,
and they both get captured. What was your favorite death from that first scene? So we have the weasel drowns.
Pete Davidson just got shot in the face.
Davidson,
he like sells him out.
He
and walks up.
One thing that doesn't make any sense about that. What was his plan there? He still had the thing in his head. What was he planning on doing?
That was just funny.
Didn't matter. I think
he gets shot in the face.
I think it was very funny they did it to him, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Fuck, Pete Davidson's in everything. I'm sick of this guy," and they just blow his head off in 5 minutes.
Technically, second death. Yeah, just blast him in the face.
Technically, the weasel doesn't die though.
True.
In credit scene, the weasel just runs off into the woods.
Yeah.
I
have a favorite. What do you have one? From this opening scene, which we could divide it into 4 different parts. My favorite was
not one of the characters. Whenever Boomerang throws his thing and the guy's head top of his head gets cut off and it slides off, that ruled.
I thought one of the funnier moments of the movie. I don't know who this superhero or character was, But the guy,
detachable,
yes.
the detachable kid,
the detachable,
TDK, I think is his character's
he could
name.
detach his arms. And
Nathan Fillion is who plays him.
And he detached his arms and
TDK
sent him after the militia and was fighting them with just his arms. And then they were shooting his arms and he was writhing on the ground.
But usually a superhero, he'd have some sort of jetpack. It's just if your arms were detached and you couldn't put your full weight into any of your attacks,
just floating
arms. It would just
arms.
be like a pool noodle hitting
somebody.
somebody.
It was funny.
It's just he's just kind of being a minor annoyance. That was very funny.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Captain Boomerang, he just gets blown full of shrapnel and a giant helicopter crashes on top of him.
Right away. The
super dead.
what's his name?
Jai Courtney.
Yeah, plays him again. He was in the first one. Dies in the first 10 minutes.
I kind of looked up a little about some of these characters. Who's the girl, the alien girl that dies? Her character is called...
Is that Mongol?
Mongol, correct. She is, from what I heard, is she's supposed to be this very powerful. Her dad goes head to head with Superman. I don't know anything about her either. I just did basically a Wikipedia search.
How does she die?
She jumps up and grabs onto the helicopter.
Oh yeah.
Spins around. She gets chopped up by the blades, and then she gets lit on fire.
Right. Just a real delightful opening scene.
And then Michael Rooker tries to desert, swim away, gets his head blown off.
Yeah, blows up with the.
That's all of them, right? Yeah,
I think so.
And then Spear Guy, he just kind of gets shot.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy with him. And then Harley Quinn retrieves his spear.
So then we cut to the other group and they didn't know there was another. They purposely didn't tell them there was two different squads, but we cut to the other group led by Idris Elba, John Cena, who are what's the name? Bloodsport and what's Cena's Peacemaker. Those two. Who else is in?
Ratcatcher 2.
Polka Dot Man.
Shark. I don't know. He had some sort of name. I don't remember. Sylvester Stallone voiced him.
Yeah.
He's a giant man shark.
Shark. And they're making their way. Then they now, since Harley Quinn and Flag have been captured, Amanda Waller instructs them before moving into their target, they're supposed to go free
Rick Flag
from the captors that they were ambushed
fucked
by.
Up. She was just gonna let Rick Flag die.
I know.
He's her main guy. She's just gonna sacrifice him.
Just ambushed.
A little messed up.
She's a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Cold-hearted as...
She was great in this.
It's Viola Davis.
Another thing I loved was how... Another thing that kind of added to the realism was how inept the people back in the headquarters seemed. They're like, did anyone check if the weasel could swim?
They did a cutaway after, as the big montage of everyone dying. They were had betting pools of who would die.
Yes.
Betting on deaths of these people. That was pretty funny. An
yeah,
office pool.
Yeah, they just felt like normal people doing this,
nice.
Doing this end of the world type of job. Just so nice compared to the normal. There's some big CGI computer and everyone's
just frantically typing on.
You go here, cut it up.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me
hack
into the mainframe.
Bogies on your left. They were all
funny.
very
real, dumb idiot office people.
Idiot people.
Yeah, that was funny. So they go after Flag. They go and find this camp heavily guarded by a bunch of people with some tents set up. And it just jumps from just massacre to massacre in this movie. It's just...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a little flashback that kind of sets up the main Suicide Squad characters.
Right.
You get Idris Elba and his daughter.
You get some intro.
At that point, I was kind of so they're just going to do Will Smith again.
The same
thing. But my thought was this was done so much better than that was. Because, Idris Elba, he plays kind of a scumbag. He plays... he doesn't want his daughter. He kind of seems like an asshole. He seems like a villain. He seems like a bad guy. He kind of gets in a shouting match with her. It's not so stereotypical of we're that kind of thing.
Right.
It felt very, sort of grounded in some sort of reality, and it sets up his arc throughout the movie that he can go from this emotionally closed off killer to eventually a
leader,
more kind-hearted leader, loving guy. So that was my thought. I also heard they wanted to get Will Smith back and just do him, so they basically picked another handsome lead man who plays a character that shoots good, basically, which is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it was fine.
He was great.
Ass.
He was awesome.
He kicks ass. So it sets up the characters that we meet, the ones that we mentioned, Peacemaker, Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man. It's a little backstory on them, and then that team goes to Rescue Flag. They go to this camp, and it sets up. It's kind of a you get to see your first real bit of Peacemaker, who's John Cena, and Bloodsport, who's Idris Elba. They're kind of like in a one-upmanship
from their
murder.
Yeah, their setup. It's deemed they both have the same skill set basically. And they make a joke out of it.
That's what I do.
He's like, "What do you mean? It's a team of specialized villains.
Unique special."
They both do the exact same thing, and they have like a little playful competitiveness going the entire time.
Yeah, and
fighting for who's going to be the leader.
Right. Yeah. And Peacemaker's big thing is like a national hero type. What's his? Yeah. What's he always talking about? Like,
I don't know.
He's doing
it's funny. It's kind of a joke on
it's
like a joke on like modern military values. It's like I'll get peace at any cost, even if it means murdering a family of a village of women and children. Anything for peace. It's I don't know. It's like a funny little poke.
Yeah. So they go into this camp and they're doing they basically try to one up each other, each person that they pick off one by one as they kill them. And I can't even remember the wit. Like there's one of the lines of it, there's an exploding bullet. It's like, oh, he shot him. He's like, oh, non-lethal. Yeah, and
he blows up into a million pieces. The shark eats a guy whole.
Yeah. So they just run through.
They kill all these soldiers.
Run through this camp.
And at this point, I'm trying to think, because it feels kind of weird. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Something felt off about it to me the whole time. They were about halfway through when they're killing all these people, because there's not a lot of urgency. It felt like from the soldiers they're killing.
I know what you're saying.
I'm like, something's weird. And when no one was coming out of the main hut, I think it clicked for me what was going on.
So there's this main larger tent that they all kind of gather around and burst into, and you see Rick Flag, who they're going to save, kind of bandaged up, having tea, yucking it up with a couple of and you realize that this is like this.
The revolution. These are the freedom fighters. And they've just killed all the good guys.
Their whole army. So there's just a few left, and it's like, basically Flag wasn't taken by the bad guys. He was captured and brought into this revolution.
Stuff like that makes the characters feel so good that these people fuck up. Like they're not any smarter than us, really. They have super abilities, but they're total dumbasses.
One of my favorite lines is pretty small for the most part. They're the leader, this woman, the leader of the rebellion, says something to the effect of, "Why didn't my men notify me that you were here, or why didn't anyone come and get me?" And
Cena, I think.
Cena, I think it was Cena, or maybe
I think they all
Bloodsport. They're like,
it.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see anybody.
Didn't see anyone out there. Didn't see anyone. No one stopped us after they just massacred the whole camp. It got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, it was very funny.
So they join up with this rebellion in a roundabout way to go and take this city, which this is just a fake island and a fake government.
I don't think it's real.
It's not real. It's like they call it like Maltese or something.
Yeah, they call them Guatemalans, so that it's not, because you never want this. You never want it to be a real place,
right?
Like you don't want it to be New York City, and now they killed 1 million innocents by destroying it. You got to make it a fake city.
So they go to
real,
overrun this government and get some information from this government building, and from there, and to get into this super secret lockdown place,
They're going for a thing called Project Starfish, and they don't really know what it is, but
that's the target.
There's a doctor who is Thinker.
The place
is the
that it's
character's
held,
name.
they need to get to this guy, the Thinker, to help them get into.
He
this
is captors of like the dictator regime that took over this nation. So basically, yeah, they have to get to him undetected, I guess. Essentially. So they do that. They
find him in this. They find him in this bar, basically, and they capture him and create a scene and get away.
Yeah, they disguise themselves. They get driven to somewhere by another beloved character, Milton, gets introduced. The driver, he has no powers. He's just
a guy that they found that drives a van.
Works for the freedom fighters.
Such a good touch. It was so funny.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
And they're like,
oh, in the meantime, Harley Quinn is captured, and then, or no, she falls in love with the dictator. They have sex. She loves him, and then she murders him.
Shoots him in the chest
because he's talking about how he's going to use, because the Project Starfish, the previous dictators, all their enemies, they would just send them there, and they would never come back. And he starts talking that way. And I thought this was kind of like a really nice character moment. She kills him, and then she talks about my boyfriends in the past were crazy, and I know if I let you in, I would never be able to leave you, and this would get really messy. So this
I knew if I saw the signs this time,
I saw a lot of red flags. I would just kill him. It's kind of funny, but that's so perfect for that character that she would do that. And it was so unexpected to me. She just turns, shoots him right in the chest.
I saw it coming.
Yeah, I didn't. That one got me.
I was like, she's about to kill this guy, right? Because this is not Harley Quinn, that they're falling in love and being the queen of the. I thought she was about to kill him. The escape from that, then after they get flagged, they're supposed to go rescue her, and she just escapes on her own.
She's locked up by the guy who takes over for the person she just killed.
Yeah.
And he's trying to beat any information out of her where the other Suicide Squad
One of the coolest action sequences.
One of the best scenes in the whole movie. It was
she kicks
awesome.
Ass.
It was incredible.
She's so good.
It's, a lot of long takes. The action in this is so well done and so well composed. I don't know who directed all the action and did all the choreography.
A lot of it was...
Seeing this after watching that other movie where it's just a lot of tight shot, someone shooting this way, other shot, enemy coming at you, tight shot, shooting this way.
Yeah. She does
this
it.
Was so
it was
good.
Featuring mostly at the beginning. She picks up this javelin after that guy dies. It was featuring.
Starting, she's chained up by her hands,
right?
And they're shocking her, torturing her, and she acts like she passes out, and she chokes the guy with her legs, knocks him out, snaps his neck,
snags the key with her foot,
does the key with her foot, and then goes on an absolute killing spree.
Yeah, with this javelin, it's it's really, really cool, long sequence. Kills all these people and escapes. Another really funny moment where she kind of runs into the other.
They're on a mission to get her out,
to save her,
bust her out, and they're all very tense, very scared. She just walks up right behind them.
Yeah, outside of the building that they're about to go in to get her. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're going to save you.
I love that.
She's like, "Oh, that's really sweet. I can go back in there if you want to.
Yeah.
If you want to come save me."
Yeah, really I love that. Just another example of these good guys having bad guys having a little bit of kindness in them, seeing them sort of well up. That's the other thing about this movie. There's not really any good guys and bad guys, really.
No.
Every character is kind of inherently gray, which is, sometimes a little played out. But in this, it worked really well for me.
So now the band's all back together. You've got Harley Quinn, Flag, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher 2. They're all together, and they can go after this Project Starfish. They have the Thinker to get him into this building, and then they head there, correct? I'm not missing any?
I don't think. Yeah, I think that's about what happens, yeah.
So they get in this place. What their plan is, they're going to plant a bunch of charges, a bunch of explosives, and once they have what they need, basically just blow it to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, explain. I guess the villain is this. Explain the Project Starfish as best you can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a character from the comics. I think
we find it. when I was watching, I was like, this is so stupid.
And I think that's sort of the point. I mean, that's, James Gunn. He's always going to pick the weirdest, most off-the-wall.
It's a literal starfish.
It's a
gigantic starfish.
So we find out that a long time ago, the U.S. government, when they were in space, got this starfish. And at that time, he's about yay big. And then we find out that he can eject smaller starfish out of, like, his thin pit,
armpit-looking area.
And they'll suck onto your face, and at that point, he gains power and he grows. The more people he has little starfish with his face sucked on him, the bigger and more powerful he becomes, and he's contained in this gigantic lab.
Which is underneath this building they've been trying to get in.
Correct.
They
don't really know what they're going in or going after.
It's real bizarre, but, I mean, I think terrifying. I mean,
it looked cool.
Scary.
It looked
cool,
weird
scary.
and strange, but they did a good job of showing the scale of it. I mean, it's like Godzilla-sized starfish.
Gigantic, literal starfish.
Another cool part, so they get in, and they kind of split up. Half the people are rigging the bombs. The other half are going down to, like, the lair where the starfish is.
Located,
I guess. And you see, like, this giant, like, prison, basically, like, cattle, whatever, cattle pen
stable
of people with the starfishes on their face. And then you see this doctor's doing these weird, like, gory, disgusting experiments on some of the other ones.
Yeah.
You find out that all the people that have... Another thing that was a good touch that most movies, I feel like, if it was, like a traditional Superman movie, all the people, if you kill the starfish, you'd save all the people. He goes, like, no, they're all dead already. They're all corpses. There's no saving them. They're all already dead, which I thought was cool. It was nice, like, oh, that's probably about how it would go in real life. And then Rick Flag, he's like, we have to tell people about this. We have to tell the press. He turns on his government.
Talking about the information that they found that the U.S. government was the one that initially started this, whatever you call Project Starfish, where they're experimenting on these people, housing this starfish under this lair, and with all these people that are dead now.
And basically their only mission is not to kill the starfish, but to just get the information and get all the footage, the files, and destroy them.
So the American government
says fuck that.
Yeah,
we're not going to do that.
He wants to get it out to the press, and that is when,
in typical wrestler fashion,
Peacemaker,
John Cena turns heel.
Peacemaker goes heel, and he said, "I was brought aside and told that my only mission is to get this information."
So the whole time my take was that he was never really actually in prison. He was, like, put there as a fake. Like, he was working for them the whole time, I think.
That had never occurred to me, but
I think he was just a double agent that they put it. Because the whole time I'm thinking, like, this guy is all for good and right. I don't understand what he would have been put in prison for.
Yeah, and they never said what it was. So I buy that. So he was, by Amanda Waller, was told separately that your only mission is to get this information and get it back to me, just so it didn't get out to everyone. So Flag and Cena, Peacemaker, go at it. They fight over this hard drive, little chip-looking thing, the information that they need.
One of my favorite shots in the movie. They're fighting, and Peacemaker's little toilet helmet falls off. He wears, like, a shiny silver helmet.
Sick. I know what you're about to say.
And they're fighting in the reflection of his helmet. Oh, that was so cool.
Ass.
It was so cool.
It was very cool.
So they have a really cool, well done, like,
hand-to-hand,
knockdown, drag-out brawl.
Yeah, like
no guns,
like lead pipe,
fist fighting, lead pipes.
Beat the shit out of each other for a while, and are rolling around on the ground. And
Flag gets a bar, and
it's like some sort of pipe, and
he's
like
choking him
on top of him.
Cena
grabs
like a piece of tile, like a shard of rubble, stabs him right through the heart.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird, like, the inner. That was
that was unsettling.
Odd,
and I kind of liked it.
It was fine.
I think.
You're like
I think it's a good way to,
shot
like,
of.
I think there's a lot of times in movies you can do that and be like, oh, is he dead? He just got stabbed, and that
So
there's like
dead.
He's so dead.
So dead.
There's no way he's not dead.
Which was a nice touch. I mean, I think that this movie did a good thing in setting the standard very early that these people can die and will die.
And the other thing,
he's like the main, one of the core pieces of this movie.
He's basically the leader of the whole team. I mean,
Yeah.
Idris Elba kind of is in this movie, but yeah, he's sort of the leader of the whole deal. And one thing that differentiates this from 2016 was that, like, I felt bad and sad when he died. Like, I cared.
It's like, oh, it's
I
our
was
guy.
like, that's such a bummer
It's
that
our
he's
guy.
dead.
Did not expect it. Didn't
expect it either. I thought for sure they were going to kill John Cena, or neither of them would die. It was honestly my expectation.
Yeah.
But yeah, they killed him. And then we haven't really talked about the shark or the rat lady, but they're great. They're really good. The shark guy. So the shark is basically Groot. I mean, he's not as smart as a human. He can speak more than he's like says sentences, but it's like
fragmented.
It's like, you friend.
Yeah.
This my hand.
I
Me
eat.
Hungry. Sort of deal.
He's a good comic relief.
Yeah, he's a lovable comic relief.
When they're at the beginning, when they're in the camp, he picks up the rat catcher girl and is about to eat her. And they go into this big thing about how he doesn't have any friends, and it kind of is a nice moment where,
where she says, "I'll be your friend."
We'll be your friends.
Yeah.
Would you eat your friends? She asks him, and he says no. She's like, "Well, we'll be your friends."
Mm-hmm.
So he no longer wants to eat them because that's basically he just wants to eat everything.
Yeah.
A nice moment.
That was a great character.
The rat catcher woman.
Another funny wrinkle that shows that they're incompetent is her ability is to conjure or like control any rat through this little
rats
device, and she can kind of make them do whatever she
Manipulate
wants.
them.
And we find out Idris Elba is terrified of rats. And yeah, they cut back to the war room, and they're like, "Did anyone check if
no one
he's into rats?"
Yeah,
no.
That was a good touch. That was fun. And you have a nice moment with Idris Elba. I always forget his name. Bloodsport. And Ratcatcher 2, where they're on their way to
the mission, I guess.
Go to the main mission to do the starfish search and siege, whatever. They're in the van on the way there, and they have like this nice moment where he says something to the effect of, "I won't let you die," or like kind of like a remind.
Yeah,
you
like,
remind me of my daughter,
and he's kind of getting a little soft,
a little
on
emotional.
And her dad died.
Her big thing is her dad died. He taught her how to use this device, and he made it. So it's like
the little fun,
the father,
fun cameo. Taika Waititi played her dad in like the one short flashback.
And so it's like a father-daughter dynamic of they both have neither of those things on this, and they kind of have a little moment. And they both say, or he says, "I won't let you die, kid," and she says it back to him. Like they have like this nice little moment on the way there.
And so the other squad, at the time that these people are fighting, we cut to like, we also, whenever they're fighting, we hear like an explosion, and they say, "Oh no, they set the bombs off too soon." When they're down underneath when the other squad is down underneath in the layer, whatever you want to call it, they say, "Oh no, they set the bombs off too soon." And we cut to like 7 minutes earlier, and we see the other squad laying the bombs, setting it up.
They did that a few times. They did a nice job of threading those things together.
Yeah, it was a little...
And having them like all kind of converge together.
Yeah, a lot of alternate timelines, a lot of like cutting to 10 minutes before.
10 minutes before, and it shows like the lead up to that moment from a different angle, and it really threads together nice.
Little Tarantino sort of deal going there.
Exactly. James Gunn. Knock this out. But he did a really good job.
He nailed it. He really did a good job. Yeah, so we see the other team there setting up the bombs or whatever. They're setting up their little sticky explosives, and we also find out before there's like a few security guys in the building already, not that many, but we see that. And they're kind of setting all these bombs up, and then they walk into this little office space. Whenever the whole like 8 of them walk in, I notice this. I don't know if most people notice this, but it's like, the traditional heroic shot of them all like walking out of the
white mist. Yeah.
And you see all the way over on the right is Milton, the bus driver. And I'm like, why is he here? But you see him walking up with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's going to come into play. And
while they're like scrambling around setting these and dodging these
guards come out, and he gets lit up.
Milton gets shot.
Dead as hell. And
Polka Dot
Man's really
like, "Oh no, Milton's dead." And
Harley Quinn says, "There's no way we've been with a guy named Milton."
Who is Milton?
Who's Milton? That was very funny.
And he's like distraught, and she couldn't.
She's like,
couldn't
oh,
tell you.
she turns around and looks at him. She's like, oh, that guy,
The
Milton.
driver. It was a funny moment.
The
Good
driver,
stuff.
obviously.
So in the end, there's this big.
You got the kind of the standard blowing up building. They have to
Right,
escape
like-
the building before it collapses.
Like the running, collapsing floor stuff that is typical of these like action type scenes. But in the end, this giant starfish.
And we get like hints, like we see the tentacles, we see like its eye. We never see the full
Right, we don't get the
thing to get
scale of it.
We sense that it's big, but we never really get the reveal.
And then it kind of breaks out of this concrete building dungeon that it's been in and rises up to the ground level, and we see that it's like 10 stories high. It's gigantic, and it starts. There's a big army.
Yeah, the bad guys.
The government is
are posted up
outside, and it sends out the little starfish, and they all latch to their face and grows bigger, and they're all being controlled by this thing now, and it just starts tearing through the city.
Another
basically.
cool thing is that the starfish can like speak through one of the people. It can use the people to speak.
Yeah.
And that was a cool touch. And so, but basically the Viola Davis's character calls in. She's like, as long as you destroy the hard drive, that's all you need.
Leave.
Get out. It's honestly better if this thing destroys this whole country.
Bad press.
Don't have to worry about it for America.
Yeah.
And
they're kind of walking away. They're going for the pickup point to leave, and they all kind of one at a time stop and decide that they're going to go back and try to help the people of this city and try to stop this thing, basically. And Waller is freaking out, and the people I knew they were gonna. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I knew that they were going to go back and try to save this city. I didn't know how we were gonna get there because she was like finger on the button about to blow up their tracking things to kill them all. And then her team, her office nerds, end up knocking her out and like hop on the horn. They're like, all right, your best route's going to be to like jump in and try to save. We kind of got hints throughout the movie.
whole time her staff, because she threatens to kill
the daughter.
Idris Elba's daughter, or put her in like the prison that he's in for supervillains.
Which is the most dangerous.
And he's like, you
in
weren't
the
actually
world.
going to kill his daughter. And she's like, if you
gotta
saw
do
the
what
shit
you
I
gotta
did
do.
for this country.
So the whole time you get hints that her team is like, this bitch is crazy. She's way over the top. And then they end up knocking her out and taking control and like helping them fight this giant starfish. So like go back into the city and go after it. And this movie's really funny.
Yeah.
Another
really funny.
So the polka dot man, we haven't talked about him much. He ends up at the very end fighting this starfish. He ends up dying.
His
But
whole
his
character
whole thing
is that I wish I was dead.
I wish I was
basically.
dead. He's super depressed and dark. He hates his mother.
His mother did an experiment on him, which is why he's the polka dot man.
Which is, yeah.
He shoots these basically polka
Like
dots that
acid polka dots
can
that
cut
like
people
melt,
in half, melt
like,
people.
And Idris Elba says something about pretend it's your mom, or how does he say it?
Yeah, the whole time he pretends people are his mom so that he can kill them. And we get
angry
gags
and
in the
kill them.
movie where all these giant, like the giant starfish looks like a giant version of his mom. All the bad guys he'll envision as his mom, and you'll actually see his mom, basically.
And he gets angry and attacks. And so he envisions it, and then he gets smashed by the...
He yells, "I'm a superhero," and then immediately
Yeah.
squashed by the
He by the
starfish.
melts the leg of the starfish with these acid polka dots and is like celebrating, and it just gets smashed.
Yeah.
That was also pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and how it ends. Basically, they're back to the wall. It seemed like they're totally done.
Yeah.
And Rat Girl seems like 10 million rats. A trillion rats, and they just overtake the
starfish.
And Harley Quinn with the javelin is up at a high vantage point, and she dives with the thing straight into the eye. And this was really cool to me. I assumed it would just bleed, but it's like a pool of water.
Yeah, she like
inside.
penetrates it and like it's like contained still. She's like inside the eye.
She's in like a little underwater pool that's inside the thing's eye.
Yeah.
you see all the rats crawling in, and they're like
Swimming in.
eating like the brain stem and whatever is
And it
from
slowly
the inside.
like,
and
stumbles around,
you
and
see it shot from wide, and the eyes filling
it's
up
like a
with blood.
bloodshot eye, yeah. And then it kind of stumbles around and then falls over,
Mm-hmm.
and she pops out, and then they bail. Is there anything else notable at the end? So it's Bloodsport, it's Ratcatcher 2, it's Harley Quinn. Who else? Is anyone else still with us at the end?
Oh, the freedom fighters kill the government and take back over.
They do,
that happens
yeah.
also because Rick Flag says, while we're doing this, the president or whatever will be wide open. You'll be able to take over.
Yep, she
They do
burst
that.
in
that
and
happens
like
a little earlier. They
Yep.
just mow everyone down. So at the end, Elba has the footage.
He blackmails
and he
her.
blackmails Viola Davis's character, saying, "You let us all go free. You let me see my daughter, or else I'm going to put this all on the internet." And basically,
She says
they all
deal.
get to go. And
She says
it's a
deal. So it's those three. I want to talk about who you're. Go ahead.
Another thing before that happened, we missed. Cena chases after Ratcatcher because she sees him kill Rick Flag, and she grabs the hard drive and runs away. And then basically we end up with a standoff between Cena and Idris Elba's character.
Totally.
And there's a joke earlier where he says, "I do everything." Cena says to Idris Elba, "I do everything. You do it better." He's like, "Your bullseyes, I shoot inside your bullseyes. I shoot directly in the middle of your bullseyes.
I shoot through your
And he's
bullets into your bullseyes.
Through your bullets into your bullseyes." And he's like, "How's that even possible?" He's like, "Smaller bullets."
Smaller bullets.
And then at the end, they both quick fire,
draw and
shoot,
fire at each other.
We get a CGI of the bullets. Idris Elba has a smaller bullet, goes right
through it.
His bullet hits Cena in the neck, dead, until the post-credit scene. Turns out Cena
was rescued from the rubble, which is just impossible.
He's shot right in the neck, bleeding profusely.
In a building full of rubble, just collapses.
Whatever. Superhero movie.
John Cena. He was funny. Bring him back.
Yeah, he's charismatic. His character was a little too many jokes for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel you.
He
was a bit corny.
He shot about 35% from the field.
Which was the point, I guess, but it was a little too
many jokes.
Yeah.
It threw you off the scent from him being a bad guy at the end, but too many jokes.
Yeah, it was.
What were some things you didn't like? Because we've been very positive.
We have.
It's kind of. This is a tiny pet peeve of mine in movies in general.
I don't have many.
It's not just about this.
I'm not that great at
hate
picking apart small
when there's
things
a movie with a big disaster scene, and Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are really bad about this. It'll be like a wide shot, and it'll be like a quick zoom, like someone's like on their phone. Like that'll be what the camera looks like. Does that make sense? It'll be like documentary style. And in like the logic of that, it doesn't really make sense. Like I guess it makes it feel real, but making the shot look intentionally bad in documentary style is like hacky to me, and I just don't care for it. It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, just a
did
personal
that,
thing.
Twice in this movie, but that's just a pet peeve of mine.
I honestly don't have that many negatives. Maybe some. Do you have negatives?
I think the ending is a little. I think it could have been more creative. I think
it was pretty cookie cutter for the most part. It was
pretty like back against the wall, kill him with the rats. I think there could have been a more creative way of going about killing the thing. I
agree.
They could have found like a weakness. Or
it was really silly. That was
together.
There's no way there was that many rats on that island. I mean,
and even so, it's I don't know. It's just
when I'm saying millions and millions of rats swarm this thing, it is alarming. Mm-hmm. These are everywhere. And it was a silly. Yeah, I didn't love that. But
he kind of played it as a joke a little bit.
And it was a nice moment for her to like. She's like crying as she's wielding the thing that.
Her whole deal with her dad was a little rushed and a little forced in there. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't great.
There was just one like flashback of them. I thought she was awesome though. I don't know how to say her name, but she was awesome. Daniela Mcquarrie. I thought she was really good.
They did.
I thought she did a good job.
So James Gunn always does licensed music in his movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, music's a huge part of those. Did it in this movie too, but it all feels like it matches the tone, and it's used very sparingly. So, much better.
I have an interesting point that I read. We both like the Polka Dot Man, correct? David Dasmalchian, as the actor's name. I've seen him in other things.
I don't know
much.
have,
I don't know
or
much else
I
about
don't
him.
recognize
But
him
he
if
plays
I
the
do.
polka dot man, and his whole thing is he was experimented on as a kid, and twice a day he gets these big, gigantic like lumps that glow at
Yeah,
the
he
color
gets,
of the
like,
rainbow.
lumps. He looks like a elephant man.
Yeah, and he has to like, you see him walk off into the woods and like basically vomit them up.
Pukes him up.
He like pukes him up, and then he's fine. He looks
When he's all
normal again.
swollen, it looks so cool.
He has to do it like twice a day to look back to normal. That's his whole thing, and he I thought he did a really good job playing that character. But the fun fact that I was going to say is that the actual actor one of our good friends has vitiligo, the skin condition. This actor has that, which is a slight pigmentation loss in your skin, so it's like patchy in places. So he like was super connected to the role and was like, I read that he was like called Polka Dot Kid or like as a kid. It was, I was blown away.
That's pretty cool.
It was a really cool. So he was like super connected to the role and was like, I thought he did a really good job.
Another thing that I appreciated that I think with a different director, if the studio had meddled, I was honestly in the back of my head like hoping they didn't do this. At the very end, some mainline DC hero comes in and like helps him at the end. Like Superman comes in and kills the starfish.
Brutal.
I'd have been so bummed out. But a lesser filmmaker, lesser studio that didn't trust the filmmaker would have absolutely. There was not a single mainline hero villain, I guess Harley Quinn, in this movie.
I would have puked in the aisle if they did that.
Which is so nice. I mean, it seems like DC was so averse to using these weird characters. Because even in the first Suicide Squad, the Batman's in it like a couple times. They have to tie it into. And that's the other thing with the Marvel movies. It's like none of them can stand on their own.
I like these ancillary characters. It's some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
I love that bit about that one actor. Any other thoughts?
The Starfish was really weird, but compared to how bad most of the villains in the DC movies are, it was a nice change of pace. Every villain in all the I mean, he's not really the villain. That's the other nice thing is like all the characters are villains and they're good guys. Everyone kind of has a motivation that makes sense for why they did what they did.
Yeah, I thought the Starfish was really stupid, but it was
fun.
Is what it is.
It was goofy. They could have killed it better.
I did think they could be a little more creative. Not how they did
Shark
that.
was awesome. We didn't talk as much about him, but he was so great. He was so funny.
The big point to take away from his like character, if you want it, was he was like a lonely, like half man, half shark, kind of 3/4 shark for the most part. He had legs, I guess, and could barely talk, but how he had gained friends and like they kind of became like a group, a tight knit group. That was his.
It's very funny and envisioning.
He's indestructible apparently.
You can't shoot him basically and kill him. He fell like 100 stories and didn't die.
Just pumped full.
That's the thing about having a character like that. You can just like change whatever rules you want. Like, I don't know. I guess he's a good giant shark. Maybe he can't die. I don't know.
It's a really nice
like
loophole.
Rick Flag can't do that. So on a super macro scale, this is like the exact same plot as the first one. So it's very interesting to see how much better this one was done.
Yeah, so we're left with the weasel running off into the woods. It didn't drown. It wakes up. It spits up some water on this shore.
So you mean like a day later?
Yeah, and runs off into the woods, into the jungle.
See how that returns.
And we also see John Cena in a hospital, like all bandaged. In credits, yeah. I don't know where they go from here, but I assume we'll get more Bloodsport Peacemaker face-offs.
Yeah,
they're gonna
I assume he'll be hunting him down.
Yeah, that should be really fun. Ratcatcher 2, I assume will be back, and then of course
I heard they're going to do some
Harley
shows,
Quinn.
And people were speculating that John Cena would get his own show on HBO.
I could see that. We don't know anything about him, so that would be kind of cool to figure out how he got there or why. You're probably not far off on the being like a plant and how he.
I would imagine he was a double agent the whole time.
Figure out why he was forced into doing this. That'd be interesting. And then Harley Quinn's still there. Margot Robbie, just chef's kiss. Just crushes.
Such a well cast movie. Every casting decision I thought was really great.
Anything else? Speaking of casting, we can move on.
I think it's nice to see a superhero movie where they just let the director make the movie they want to make, and it doesn't feel like the studio is meddling with it.
Turns out James Gunn's just pretty good at this.
Most of these directors that are getting picked for this stuff are good directors, and if you just sit back and let them do their thing, you're going to get a solid movie.
Well, unlike Marvel at times where there's just such a roadmap and structure to it, you can kind of, the first one sucked. Just please make it good. We're not going to have any.
The thing was, the reason it was bad was because how much they meddled with it on the studio, on the back end of it.
You could tell.
How much they were Frankensteining it together. In this movie, they just said, hey, go make whatever movie you want. We'll be fine.
Just James Gunn.
It's nice. So a lot of the recent movies in DC have been like Birds of Prey, very much felt like its own thing. Shazam felt like its singular movie, and like the tone of none of those three movies is really similar, really.
Right.
And then Joker is obviously a completely different sort of thing from these movies. So it's nice. Gives me hope that superhero movies aren't just mindless corporate.
Felt like James Gunn,
commercials.
kid in the candy store, just going to town.
It was great. Got me excited
Anything
for
further on
Guardians 3.
Oh man, love that cast. Love that. Love
My
that
final
franchise.
score out of 100.
Yeah, what's your final
I gave
score?
this an 84.
I would be in the low 80. Okay, yeah.
84 out of 100.
I would be in the low 80s probably.
84 out of
I would
100.
say like 82.3. So we're in the same
Highly
neighborhood.
recommend.
Super
Ton of fun. Strikes me as a movie I could rewatch a lot.
We went to the theater rather than seeing it
on HBO.
on HBO
I would
Max
recommend
at home.
going to the theater.
Yeah,
if you
it
can.
kicked ass on a big screen. Yeah, it was really good.
Can I talk quickly? This just popped into my head today. Like, what are some of the best movies, superhero movies, the last 5 years? Where this stacks up to me, I think it's like firmly probably top 5. Do you want me to read you off some? For me, number one, my favorite superhero movie ever is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie that came out a few years ago. We have Infinity War. We have Endgame, Thor Ragnarok, Joker, Civil War, Shazam, Incredibles 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, Guardians 2, Logan, Doctor Strange, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Far From Home. Any of those stand out to you as favorites?
The last two Avengers are going to have to be really high. Infinity War and Endgame. Those are both great. Not a hot take there. The Into the Spider-Verse is really great. I hope we get more of that type of thing. Spider-Verse, it seems like it's just an absolute lock at this point for the next live-action one with Tom Holland to get more.
I think they're making another Spider-Verse, too.
Right, yeah, but I think we'll dive into the live-action version of that at some point, hopefully soon.
I don't know if they'll, like, I said this to you the other day. I think it would be cool to do, like, a Roger Rabbit style, get
animation.
Really weird with it, animation with the live-action characters, but I don't know if they'll want to go that weird.
Let's see. You said Wonder Woman. The second one, I didn't like that much.
The first one is also in the last 5 years. I didn't even. The other one is so bad. I didn't even put it on the list. Wonder Woman 84 is awful. I'm not. A lot of people really like the first Wonder Woman. I'm not.
I think Civil War is great.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't. Civil War's fine. I don't love it. I didn't like Joker really.
I'm lower.
I like Shazam.
I like Shazam too. I'm lower on
the two Spider-Mans I liked.
I'm lower on Wonder Woman and Black Panther than most, I think.
Yeah, Black Panther's solid.
Slightly overrated, but both solid.
Guardians 2. I liked Incredibles 2 a lot.
I think, looking at this list that you have here, I think it has
my top 5 would be Spider-Verse 1, Infinity War 2, probably this 3, The Suicide Squad, then probably Endgame, then probably Thor Ragnarok.
I wasn't as high on Thor Ragnarok as most people either, but this movie would be, The Suicide Squad would be in the fringy top 5, like 5-6 range probably for me.
Logan, I haven't watched Logan since it came out, so it's not very fresh in my mind.
I've seen it once.
It's not very fresh in my mind. If I'd seen it more recently, I would have probably put it higher. But, yeah. So, let's do a little fun thing.
Okay.
That we had planned before this. We're just going to do some hypothetical DC movie castings, basically. I gave you a prompt to just make a movie with a star character. So actor, what character they'd play. Supporting actor, what character they play. Antagonist, what character they play. And a director. And then I figured we just riff like some fun casting what ifs after that.
Okay. This is your idea. I want you to start.
You want me, you go first.
So I have one where I have basically the full cast. And I don't.
So do I. And then I just have some what
I just have
that
some
would
to
be
just
fun.
like spitball about. So I think so. We can spitball about like Batman, Superman. I think I didn't do those. I think Green Lantern could be revisited because the first one with Ryan Reynolds was in like the early 2000s. When was that? Mid 2000s?
06, 05, 08.
It stinks.
It's really bad.
It stinks.
It's terrible.
It's one of the worst superhero movies that's been made.
It's
So I think we
awful.
could revisit it. And I've written down Ansel Elgort to play the Green Lantern.
Yeah, I
he
could
was
buy
in
it.
Baby Driver, most notably. That's what I've seen him in. Although that's kind of a weird one to. Like,
Has he done
judge
any
his acting.
superhero stuff?
He
It
didn't-
seems like he's like.
No.
Seems like he's just.
Well, he was in. I
poised to
wrote
do a
down he was in the
superhero thing.
Divergent stuff, which is not superhero, but it's like
big
actiony
sci-fi,
thriller, sci-fi.
tentpole
Yeah.
sort of. Property.
He's the lead. He is Green Lantern or Hal Jordan. That's who I have. Good-looking kid. It doesn't matter. He's blonde-headed. I don't know if that matters. That's just Ryan Reynolds was, so I don't know. Mention that. Vandal Savage as the villain.
Who is that?
He's a villain of the Green Lantern. I don't know. He kind of
That's the character's name. I thought that was an actor.
That's the character's name.
I
He's
was
like,
I don't know the actor Vandal Savage. What's Vandal Savage's deal?
he's like this immortal, like, just bad guy. I don't know. He's kind of like a
Disclaimer: we don't know shit
no.
about
This
comics.
is totally
This is
we're just
very
bullshitting.
Wikipedia search. It's more.
This is why I picked Carl Urban. Do you know who that is?
He's in The Boys.
He's
the Australian guy.
Yeah, he's oh my God, what's his name in The Boys? Oh my God.
He's Aomer in Lord of the Rings for all my Lord of the Rings heads
He
out
is,
there.
yeah. Oh my God, what's his name?
Oh, Billy something.
Oh my God, this is
Oi,
driving me nuts.
it's me. It's Billy fucking
Oh, Jesus.
cup of cha. Oi,
Billy Butcher.
Billy Butcher. Oi, you fucker.
Billy Butcher. He's Billy Butcher in The Boys. Not in a lot of notable stuff, but Vandal Savage, we'll put a picture next to him. It's him. It's like a
Okay, let me
scruffy, like dark-haired, immortal, just badass villain.
Vandal Savage.
Look him up. He's got like long sideburns and like a
Sure, yeah.
so and he's not. I didn't want to pick like some.
He looks like a guy that wrestles in the WWE right now. Do you know who Drew McIntyre
Yeah,
is? He
okay,
looks like him.
So that's my pick for Vandal Savage. I want to go a little out of the box with my guy, Carl Urban.
So
It's not like an A-list guy. I didn't want to be like, oh, let's have Denzel do it.
it's funny you say that. So I did a little Green Lantern myself.
Okay. Any Green Lantern stuff? I'll go. So his love interest, who Blake Lively in the first one, Ryan Reynolds' wife plays. It doesn't really matter. I have Haley Steinfeld. I just like her.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Edges 17, which is really good with an actor. Oh my God. Tough. Woody Harrelson. I didn't even get to it. I remembered it. Woody Harrelson. She's in that with him. Edges 17. She's in some other stuff. Oh, she was in Bumblebee. She was a lead in that. I just think she's really good. And then the director. I hope I didn't steal yours because I didn't want to say because I was like I'm having trouble with the director. I don't really know. I don't want to have like Steven Spielberg direct it. Like that's an easy. I don't want to have. I went with our guy. Already in the universe, he's shown that he can take a lesser known property and make it fun, make it good.
James Gunn?
No.
Oh.
David F. Sandberg from Shazam.
Oh, yeah.
Lesser known guy.
Yeah.
He can take these ancillary characters and make them fun, make them great. He is the director of Shazam and also Pony Smasher on YouTube. So
Yeah, he's great
Check
on
him out.
YouTube. If you want some little behind the scenes,
so you said you had some stuff for
I had
Green Lantern.
I did a little Green Lantern.
Talk some Green Lantern to me.
So,
Make it not suck.
Green Lantern's main foe is Sinestro, who's essentially like an evil version of him. He used to be one of the Green Lanterns, so he has kind of all the same powers.
He's in the first one. He's in the original one.
I don't remember.
I believe
but
so.
Sure.
I've heard
I
that
had
stuff.
Green Lantern as Michael B. Jordan Thoughts on that?
Sure. Yeah, he
'Cause
kicks
he's
ass.
Like, he's like a fighter pilot? I think he needs to play it a little straight. I don't think you want a guy that's like sort of really funny and goofy.
Okay.
A guy that's playing a little more serious.
So the opposite of Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, exactly. A guy,
He
Michael
is,
B.
yeah.
Jordan kind of playing a little more straight. I buy him as a lead man. I buy him as a
Definitely.
hard-ass military guy.
Yeah, he's like
And
some
then-
sort of pilot, yeah.
I had two that I thought would be interesting as a foil for him.
Okay.
This first person would never do it. Probably neither of them would ever do it. But I had Denzel. I thought would be very funny. Not funny,
Okay.
but it would be cool. I don't know that he would do any of the action stuff because he's old. And
Yeah.
the other person I thought was Will Smith. I think Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan in some sort of competing villain protege
that'd be
sort
fun.
of dynamic would be fun.
I'm so in for anything Will Smith. I think he's awesome.
He never plays bad guys, and I think it's that he's too charismatic that everyone
Probably.
will root for him no matter what.
Probably, yeah. That's a good point.
He's such a bankable property at this point that no one will ever root against him, I feel. I put for a possible director for that Steve McQuarrie. He's directed the two most recent Mission Impossible movies.
Okay.
So I just wanted
Cool.
someone that does action, big scale stuff. He manages to kind of still have fun with it, but
What
plays
about
it pretty straight.
how old is Michael B. Jordan? Like 30s? 30,
30
31?
something, mid 30s.
Early. What about you mentioned Denzel and Will Smith? What about some of like the younger upcoming like black actors that like Kahlua or like would that
Daniel
work?
Kaluuya would be decent. Jonathan Majors, who played
He
every one of these roles. I'm like, Jonathan Majors could do it.
He rules.
He's such a good performer. I love him. I try to stay away from people that are currently playing other superheroes too. 'Cause
yeah.
I also thought Idris Elba for that, but I'm like, I don't. That's
What
kinda
about like John
redundant.
David Washington,
Ooh, that's interesting.
Denzel's son?
That's better. That's better.
You like that?
Good job. That's better. Yeah.
Let's
that's
go with
for
that.
Sure, better.
There's so many good young actors. I think that would be it doesn't have to be like similar age, but if you wanted someone a little younger to be like a villain, mostly villains seem to skew old and like crotchety and like you know, against
And again, I don't know
against
anything
the
about
world.
Sinestro either. I just,
Yeah,
I
I have no
was-
idea.
On this brief description, he's basically sort of a mirror of Green Lantern's powers and how he is. So, yeah.
Give me your sketch up of the.
This movie that I made in my head,
All you said was to me was Robin. It was about
Robin is the main character of the movie.
okay.
Batman and Robin. No Batman in this movie, but I did have it within mind that they could work in a movie with Pattinson down the road. So, Robin as my lead, I have Timothée Chalamet as the lead. Yeah, I mean, I felt a little like that's such a layup for him to play Robin, but like
he could be. I have him written down just literally one after the other. Him as either the Flash or Robin. I feel like both could work.
I think him as Robin because he can play fun, he can play dark. I don't even know how old he is. He could
Young.
play
He's
14
young.
if he
Yeah,
wanted to. I
he's
think
young.
he's like 23 or 4
Yeah, he's
or
young.
something. Supporting role.
Yeah. What's the movie? Okay.
It's basically Robin's leading it. It's, I don't know, maybe an origin story, maybe just like Batman's like off doing Justice League stuff. So Robin's kind of, man of the house in Gotham.
Yeah.
Him and Batgirl, played by Saoirse Ronan. Thoughts on that?
Buddies, I think they're
Yeah,
friends.
and they've
like,
been in movies
in
before.
real life.
They're friends. They have
Down.
good chemistry.
She
They
kicks ass.
They're great actors. They could do a romance thing if you want. You don't have to.
Ooh,
They
I wrote.
both play as the same age.
Okay. Do you have any other for this? Any other actors for
It's
this?
funny that you said Carl Urban for yours because for my villain, I have Two-Face played by Anthony Starr, who plays
Who's
Homelander.
the Homelander? He's the.
I think he would be
villain.
awesome as Two-Face.
Anthony Starr is incredible in that
'Cause
show.
I think he does a good job
Ooh,
in that
he-
show.
it
In that
would be a
character
good
of like just
Two-Face.
flying off the handle. And one thing that I think is
kinda
super
looks-
important for being Two-Face, you have to have really expressive eyes. He acts with his eyes really well, and he has really
Interesting.
big, expressive eyes. Because I think that half face has to be like, and I mean it's CGI, but having big, expressive eyes helps sell that character.
He's so good, and kind of looks like who plays Two-Face in the in the Batman trilogy. He kind of looks like
Harvey
that guy
Dent. I don't know the actor's
Either way,
name.
yeah, that is a good fit.
And directed by gritty New York, scummy, in the streets.
Martin Scorsese.
Never in a million years would he do it. Safdie Bros.
Ooh. I'll go to that movie.
I would absolutely go to that movie.
So,
never in a million years happen, but
I wrote down.
sign me up.
When is there? So we were talking about those young black actors. We brought up Idris Elba before. When is there going to be a black Batman? Idris Elba would kick ass as Batman.
Every superhero, I'm like, Idris Elba should play it.
I know. He's so good. He's
Well,
so cool.
Been talks for a long time that after Daniel Craig, he'll play James
007,
Bond.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or John Boyega. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I like him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I like him. I like him in most stuff. I have some. So you brought up Two-Face. I don't know. I think I just wrote him down. He doesn't really fit the role. I just think he's a really good actor. Oscar Isaac. Not sure why. He's just great at acting. I kind of got into that.
I also thought
doesn't really fit, but he's just
Michael
good at
Shannon, I thought would be a good Two-Face.
Interesting. Okay, I have some other villains, Batman villains.
Okay.
Do you know who Lucas Hedges is?
Yeah.
Incredible actor, Lex Luthor, big.
I think he would be good as the Riddler, actually.
Or the Riddler. I saw him too. I don't know much about the Riddler. Like what? I guess he's just kind of a
weird, quirky.
Yeah, I mean, other than the basic,
weirdly sexual.
He would
sorta.
fit there. He would fit there too. Lucas Hedges kind of.
You know who I had for Lex Luthor? J.K. Simmons.
Ooh, a different take. Okay, yeah.
Already bald.
I buy that. Yeah, that's
I
really
think
good.
he would be really good as a villain.
One of my favorite quarantine shows featuring Anya Taylor-Joy as Poison Ivy. Already can do the red hair. Kind of has the look like a I don't know how tall she is. Kind of slender with the
Super,
hair.
yeah.
The hair could work. Her as Poison Ivy, I think.
I thought Emma
I like
Stone
that.
as Poison Ivy.
Ooh.
Or Emma Stone as Batgirl.
Love Emma Stone.
Either one.
Yeah, that works. I wrote down.
Sorry, we're only doing Batman characters. We don't really know.
No, we're just on Batman right now.
Okay.
The Penguin, Jesse Plemons.
Huh. I wouldn't have guessed that, but yeah.
I don't know why.
He's also another guy. It's like, I don't care. He could play
anything.
He could play my dad. He could play.
Sure. Who's gonna play
Garbage
Who's
Man.
gonna play him, or did play him in the? Is he playing in the upcoming?
Jesse Plemons is playing.
No.
Someone's
playing the
playing
Penguin?
Jesse Plemons.
Who's playing the Penguin?
Colin Farrell.
Colin
isn't
Farrell.
He, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on the Penguin.
I never liked doing like a fat suit character. Like just get a fat actor.
Yeah. Jesse Plemons kind of has like a chubby face. He
Mhm.
could penguin it up. He's just an incredible actor. I kind of got into that down that hole. I was like, these are all incredible actors. They'll just be good in it. Other than that, I wrote down The Flash and Robin for Timothée Chalamet. Any other ones you want to throw out?
If you watch the Justice League cartoon, or I guess the Snyder Cut too, Martian Manhunter is a pretty famous character, I guess, in DC Comics. At Javier Bardem playing Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter is heavily featured in the Supergirl TV show on
didn't know that.
on the CW.
Hate to say I haven't checked that out.
Kind of a bad show, but yeah, I'm
yeah.
familiar with Martian Manhunter. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Can I give you like 6 directors I just want to see do a superhero movie of some kind? Bong Joon-ho.
Sure.
That would be fun.
Yeah, he's one for one in my book. I haven't seen anything else by him.
I mean, it's all fantastic.
Yeah.
It's all great. Yeah, he's got range. He can do anything. He's fun.
Yeah.
Knows how to deal with humanity. Coen Brothers.
Sure.
Coen Brothers would be great.
Sure.
Balance the humor, balance the goofiness with the
Let's do
themes
it.
of mortality and, guilt. Edgar Wright, who's already done Scott Pilgrim, which is a superhero movie. But he's,
Interesting take on a superhero. That was a wild movie. You really like that, right?
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. I mean, he's one of the better action directors working, one of the better comedy directors working.
Yeah.
Match Made in Heaven. Something involving like creatures, darkness. Guillermo del Toro. Done Pan's Labyrinth. Done Shape of Water. He's good with like creatures and Halloween-y type stuff. Could do isn't there's some wasn't Jared Leto? He's playing some Marvel like vampire character. Morbius. I don't know if that movie's actually going to come out, but it's been rumored for a really long time.
Also, by the way, give me Mahershala Ali as Blade already.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's
going to
stop
rule.
dilly-dallying. Talk about a perfect casting.
Oh, my God.
Ready for him to kill some vamps.
Yeah, let's do it. Any others?
Denis Villeneuve, again, he's just an awesome director. But, he's worked in a lot of sci-fi and a lot of stuff on a big scale. I just want directors that are going to dig into the human aspects of the thing, but also not getting too heavy, like this movie was.
Based on the things I've seen from them, my favorite one that you said was the Safdie Bros. Let's do it.
Safdie Bros doing a Batman movie seems incredible.
Let's do it.
My last one, Rian Johnson, would be incredible doing a superhero movie.
I am in the minority, but I like his Star Wars. Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
You don't?
No, I love his. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
It's one of my favorites.
Oh, okay. I thought
The Last Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
One of my absolute favorites.
Love Knives Out.
Love everything he's ever done.
Yeah, he's good.
He's great. Incredible. Rian Johnson.
Ryan, just do a superhero movie, dude.
Make a superhero movie.
Close it out. Who would play
actually.
you in a movie? Or me in a movie?
Who would play me in a movie?
I've been called the young very flattering comparisons. I've been called the young Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
I don't know who that is.
He's in Modern Family. He's one of the
the
gay guy in Modern Family. Yeah.
Guy?
Yes, with the
the looks, he certainly kind of looks like you a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
But
a little red beard vibe.
I don't know if he could nail your essence. He's
no
a
chance.
Guy.
No chance. Yeah, you could probably pull
it off.
You're
so deep and mysterious.
Yeah.
A lot to dig into. It'd be a lot of method acting. Of chugging Mountain Dew and drafting fantasy football teams.
An onion. Just peel back the layers. Get into it.
I don't know. Jesse Plemons could play you maybe.
Ooh, sure. He's good.
Yeah, that's probably the best I got off the top of my head. I'm bad at that off the top of my head. I don't know who would play
too.
me. Before he got really fat, and maybe one day I'll get there now that he's really fat. I've been told I look like, not an actor, but Rob Kardashian.
Ooh, yeah, Rob.
He's real chunky now.
Yeah,
maybe
he is.
Lost weight. I don't know. Last I checked, he was fat.
He's fluctuating in the weight category. I'm not sure who would play you. I didn't really think about yours too much. I don't know.
I don't know.
Any tall folks?
Vince Vaughn.
He could just do a shaved head. Yeah, let's go with that. That's my favorite one. Tall fellas. Dark hair. Nah. Vince
Adam
Vaughn.
Driver. That'd be very flattering to me if Adam Driver played me.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. Dark hair. Shaved. Yeah. Pretty good comps.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right.
It's been fun. Another good pod in the books.
We're going to see something else on Tuesday. Any ideas? Any thoughts? What's
out? I
out?
don't know what we'll go see. We could always watch something that wasn't in theaters. We could always do a rewatch. Something.
True.
An older movie if we don't find anything that. I kind of want to review Old. I think we could talk about that for a while, whether we like it or not. Old by M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't want to see that, though.
I think it would make an interesting
discussion.
I don't
like those movies.
Yeah. We'll discuss it. We'll see. Something next Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be coming at you with another movie review.
Yeah.
So
sounds good. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching episode 4 of the Thoughts and Friends podcast.